August 14th, IMU Board of Trustees of the Electric, Water, and Utilities and Communication Utilities meeting. Monica, would you please take roll call?
Yes. Celebrate.
Present.
White. Yes. Smith.
Present.
Rosda. Boyce.
At this time, I'd welcome anyone with public comment to step forward to the podium and state your name and your address for the record and share your thoughts. You can't see behind Doug, is there anybody? Okay. And we'll move forward. I need a first and second motion to approve the consent agenda discussion. So moved.
Second.
We have the resolution for approving payment application number 3 for the Turbine 8 Controls project. Any conversation or discussion related to this? The invoice was in the packet. I'm not going to have the number just off the top of my head, but it was $29,000.
$29,640.20. This is the third application.
Okay, if no conversation around that, we're going to move to the approval of claims. Any questions or discussion related to the claims that were posted this past week? Okay, we'll move on to the financial report. Mr. Schall.
Trustees, the report that's before you is for the year ended June 30th, 2023, so it's for 12 months, and Chris does a great job of explaining on the 4th to 5th page about some of the exceptions and differences, but one of the biggest things is it would appear as if you just do an outstanding job of budgeting because the numbers are so close, except for the capitals, and that's timing. We know that. This report is on a cash basis, and I know that the auditors come down and next week or whatever and make a conversion to an accrual, which probably doesn't really come to this meeting other than in the audit report. I talked today to Chris a little bit about it. I thought it'd be some major differences, but she wasn't so sure about major, but there are differences setting up the receivables and the payables. But other than that, I don't really have anything. I saw nothing unusual or
Anything from an annual perspective that we, after reviewing this, that you would recommend we do differently or think about differently?
of course, a good question. Nothing that comes to mind.
Okay. Well, good.
Think about that for a while.
All right. Well, thank you for your comments. Chris, anything additional you want to share?
Nothing, just to reiterate, just keep in mind that there will be some accrual adjustments. The auditors will be on site next week, so we'll be working through that. And once we get those entries and everything entered and wrapped up, then that, as Doug said, he'll come and present the financial report.
Okay.
This report continues to be on a cash basis compared to our budget, so.
Right. So when would you expect that to be presented to the board? Is it the next meeting or sometime in September?
I wouldn't say the next meeting. They'll be here on site next week. We'll talk with Robert following that process, and he'll give us an idea at that time, like when they can turn it around and get the report completed. It has to go out for a peer review and all of that sort of thing.
So that's the report we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. We'll look forward to that. Thank you.
Just a few questions for Chris. So on the admin function or whatever, it looks like the net position is growing. It's basically doubling from what it was last year. Is that part of the adjustments that you think you'll end up making for the accrual stuff?
Yes, because I think that is part of like the billing that has like the city services and all of that in that amount. So yes, once that's all sorted out and adjusted, yes.
Essentially, we get zeroed out. Well,
I don't know if
We're very close to it, yeah. What ends up remaining in that is what's going to be payable to the city the following month. So we do collect the cash, and that becomes that position throughout the month, and then remit that back to the city on the 10th. So
that's what I was thinking it would be instead of about 73,000, I think is the net position now, that would be quite a bit less than that. And I have one other question about the and I think that's it.
Okay. All right, thank you. We'll move on to the approval of the minutes from the prior meetings. There was one correction on the last meeting. Adam was there, he came in just as we were finishing roll call, so he was present, and it was noted in the votes, but I think it said it was absent.
Yes, I didn't know how we were supposed to word that properly, but yes.
Okay,
Jackie kind of looked at it and said, it should be good.
it should be good the way it is?
Yes, that's what she said.
Okay.
Because since it did show that when he arrived at the time later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if it doesn't know when you're like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I found my other question, if you don't mind going
Yes.
back to the images. On, Doug made a comment to this too, so the electric and water funds were both under slightly on both revenue and expense. Fiber was over on revenue, but also over on expense. Since we're above the budget on expense, is that a problem, or is that only if revenues are exceeded?
If that was the only line applicable to that, that would be a problem, but we also, those get combined with the capital, and so we're under, when you add the overage there and the
So it's
capital.
cumulative.
Yeah, it's cumulative total.
Thank you.
Okay, good questions. Any other questions related to the financials? Any additional questions about the minutes from the last meeting? If none, Monica, would you take roll call on vote?
Yes. Selgrave,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Voight.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion has been approved for the consent agenda. We are striking item number 5 from the agenda this evening. It will roll forward into a future meeting. With Mike out tonight, is there anybody to speak to electric utility items?
Yeah, I can give the information items. Yeah, Mike is out sick, but you know, his 2 points of emphasis are crews are still concentrating on all the conduit banks surrounding downtown. I think specifically this week they're working a lot in the north alley, and that is with alongside of Q3. So it takes some extra coordination. The crews are also very busy with locates, so you know, those construction projects throughout town still appear to be going forward, and you know, people are still outside doing work.
So before we move on, do you have a sense for timing of completion? I've been asked a few times, and I don't really have a good answer. If there is one, I don't know, for both the south and the north alley.
On those, I don't have a date that comes right to mind. I know.
Justin, do you have a sense?
Excuse me, the south alley, they are paving now and preparing for the bricks. As of last Tuesday, I thought they were shooting for end of September on that one,
Okay.
and then hopefully end of October-ish on the north alley.
So still yet this fall,
Yes,
if
yep.
weather holds probably.
Yep, and then they got some, I'm gonna call it fill-in work, I guess, on the west alley. If there's any overlap, why Q3's in there and Absolute can't get in there, there are some pedestrian alleyways, I guess, that they can tackle while they're waiting. But
Even though we decided to hold off on the west alley?
and I shouldn't take by Old People's Bank or Warren or the
So you're talking on the side of the street where Brick House is at, the west side.
yes, but where Old People's Bank is, there's a pedestrian alley in there, and it just gets concrete, so
Yeah.
they're just planning on tearing concrete out and replacing concrete. So not necessarily any utility work, just
Okay, that's the building I thought was under inspection. Is that not true? So
Yeah, WCDC.
why would they tear the concrete out before it's inspected?
what's the alleyway between
know,
the two
but
buildings.
I think there was some concern that that might not withstand the taking.
And that
of the
could have
concrete.
changed after last Tuesday.
Okay. And none of what I say is expert. It's all been hearsay.
Okay. Yep, but yeah, as far as absolute, they were hoping somewhere by the end of October to have the north and south done, as well as the parking lot on the south, so.
So I think I'll amend my response to be sometime this fall, yeah.
Yes, that's, and again, that's all weather permitting and everything goes as planned, so.
Okay. Sorry, Chris, were there other things, other items?
No. Oh, well, I guess, I did have one other electric one I was gonna cover. We did last week get our franchise for, our transmission. And so Mike's not here to get the congratulations, but I know between Mike and the attorneys and, everyone here, that was a lot of work, and that is it's probably done once every 25 years for good reason. So we spent a lot of time, money, and effort on that. It finally was granted last week. And I think we mentioned earlier that was part of, further complicating things is that franchise had been expired for 7 years. And so we did get assessed a civil penalty on the issuance of that at $6,000. Certainly wish we could have avoided that, but it probably does not pay to try to appeal that given what is going on with other fines. It looks like it's kind of in line with everyone else that's
So
kind
are
of in
we
a similar
able to
area.
put a trigger someplace? Because none of us will probably be here next 25 years.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. We talked about this before.
Yeah, we've got a couple of options, and I got to work with the IUB to, decide what is their, what they feel is the appropriate resolution to that, or if it'll meet the standard. Ultimately for us, it was technology rolled over a few times in that 25 years. Staff rolled over
I
a few
imagine that will be
times,
the same case, though.
yeah, and so finding the right solution, what will be persistent in an ever upgrading, obviously, looking for the IT solution, but, what is definitely going to be persistent in 25 years is
If
So
this
is
isn't
there just
making
one
transparent.
territory on
There's two of them. They're franchised per county, so we've got a franchise in Warren County and we've got a franchise in Madison County as it passes through both. Well, obviously, the longest portion is in Warren County, but we do go into Patterson, the mid-end substation in Patterson, which goes through Madison County.
Okay.
Do we have any other similar items out there that might have not lasted the test of time?
These two the franchises are on transmission. These are the only pieces of transmission that we own. Everything else is, where we connect into the Mid-American transmission on the east side. Our ownership touches theirs in our territory, so there's no franchise.
Is your question more about, do we have anything looming that could come and surprise us
Not
by
that, but
expiring?
anything else, anywhere else that
We'll continue to look for it. Nothing of this significance for sure.
Okay. Water utility action items. I need a first and second motion on authorization for Warren Water to serve 2 customers within their territory.
Second.
Thank you. The authorization for Warren Water to serve a customer within their territory upon proper notice to IMU, since the customer is within 2 miles of the IMU territory located at 16251 Highway 92. And the second one is at 11641 60th Avenue. And there were pictures included in the packet. Any questions or discussion? Justin, any comments?
No, obviously we hate giving customers up, but you can tell with the distance from our closest water main, there's really no feasible way to serve them, so.
So if at some point, I know we talk about this on occasion, if at some point we would decide to take on that territory, are these customers just lost to us? Or would we have an ability to bid them back?
I'm not for sure how the legal process works, but I know basically we would have to buy Warren Water territory out, and then we would just consume them customers. So with that amount of distance, and then on the map, I know it shows there are quite a few houses there, but the amount of money it would take to buy Warren Water out, and then if we would have to upgrade water main size, it would be pretty significant.
I was just thinking if a new development decided to pop up and started on our end and moved out, would that be a time that would be something we'd want to think about?
Yeah, all of those developments, are opportunities. The ones off are just tough financially to make go,
Yeah.
but
And I get the
if it was 100
conversation today.
houses, yeah, we would.
I was just thinking forward. We've got a spurge of houses going north of us, so it just makes me think about, I wonder who's serving all of them. Any other questions? Comments? Monica, would you take roll call on this vote, please?
Yes. Seldray.
Yes.
White. Yes. Smith.
Yes.
Voight.
Yes.
Vote carries. Justin, any additional water utility items?
Yeah, I don't have anything that's really new. We did have our sanitary survey with the DNR. Everything went really well. We didn't have any significant deficiencies. A few minor ones that are just updating some sampling plans, and then some emergency preparedness stuff like that, but nothing major, and a few minor things in the plant that just need updated to this inspector's standards, but nothing major, so we'll get those fixed and ready for the next survey.
So were there timings on when they expected those to be handled?
No, luckily our survey is only 3 years, so it just has to be done or every 3 years. I do have one that has to be done by this year, and it's just submitting a chemical sheet to the DNR that I'm working on right now. So,
Okay. So nothing that's going to cost more money to complete?
no, nothing. Nope.
Good.
The new pickup that we received in July, it's in service and doing service work. We did get well number 11 that you guys have known has been out for quite a while. It is back in service, or back installed. We were just waiting on some bacteria tests that has to be submitted to the labs to make sure the water's good. So once those, hopefully this week, we'll have all those results back, and that'll be back in service. And then other than that, we're just completing some distribution maintenance and repairs. We have a shutdown we're going to do on Wednesday to replace an old fire hydrant. So just we're able to catch up on some work that we need to get done. So
That feels good, doesn't it?
yes.
Questions for Justin? Thank you. Kurt, communications utility items.
Yep, we're pretty much business as usual, working through some final summer vacations and playing catch up from July. We had a lot of people out in July taking vacation stuff, so just getting caught up there. August install time slots are pretty much full. I think probably by the end of this week we'll start booking the first week of September, so we've got plenty to do here to finish up the month. NOFA 8 grant application is nearing completion, just waiting on a couple of letters to come in. Plan is to submit that either next Monday or Tuesday, so that should be ready to go. Newcom is finishing up the engineering for the next phase of NOFA 7. Should have a final draft tomorrow from them, and then a stamped plans by September 21st, and I think we've scheduled to set the public hearing and letting dates at our next meeting on the 28th, so moving forward with that. Hopefully be able to get done with the north section here yet this fall, and then if not the south section this fall, spring for that, so that's moving forward. The transport line construction to Pella continues. They got through town, everything's done now in Indianola. The only little section we're waiting on still is the UP Railroad crossing over at Beach, so they got rejected again. So we're on to our final plan, which I think is just a bore right down the middle of the road. So waiting to get final approval on that. I don't think we're going to have a problem with that one. Once that's done, they'll make that connection and they'll be ready to start pulling in fiber.
Like the middle lane?
Yep, we're just going to do
No middle line.
17 foot deep right down the middle of the road. So if they ever have to do anything to the road, we speak plenty deep and out of the way. But county has right-of-way access through there. They've agreed to let us in there with them, so that gets us out of everybody else's way and makes it work. But yeah.
And it's on both sides, both the east and west side. I mean, we go through underneath that that bridge?
No, we're gonna go through Beach itself, so we're
Oh,
gonna go,
Beach.
yeah, yep,
Okay.
through the little community up there, so
All right.
that railroad crossing there.
Gotcha.
Yep.
I was thinking you meant the tunnel.
Nope, no, we'll stay on the highway, so yeah, it's just the gravel road, and I think it's, I don't know if it's paved all the way through Beach or not, but anyway, small road, shouldn't be a problem, so.
Okay.
Other than that, router updates are in progress. We currently have one of them spun up and online. We'll continue to add services to that in the next couple of weeks. If everything's remained stable, then yeah, we'll turn the second one up. Goals, get all those done by end of September, so then when the Pella route's done, we can start working on the OT and stuff, so.
Questions, conversation for Kurt update? Okay, thank you. Combined electric, water, and communication action items. I need a first and second motion on a resolution amending the section 6.9 wellness program and the employee handbook.
So moved.
Second. I'll give it to Adam today. Discussion, any conversation, Chris Lunger or Krista Planks on the wellness program?
No, I guess other than to say this, this mirrors the policy passed the last city council meeting and, consistent with what we had discussed earlier in the year. It gives wellness center access to all IMU employees, IMU and city employees now.
And it's an election kind of thing. It's not just a blanket.
Yeah, it's not a blank. One of the items that from feedback I suggested was to make sure this is elected, and in fact an annual election. So want to make this available to everyone that will get usage and enjoyment out of it. But certainly if somebody knows they're not going to ever come to town, we've got money better spent elsewhere.
Good. Any additional comments, Chris? No. The one.
Funded from insurance fund.
Yes.
One question that came up last week when Chris and Deb and I met was if the discount would be available to the council or board. I don't know if you had a chance to follow up and see about that.
I have not.
Any additional questions? Conversation related to the wellness program?
Has this been shared with the team out there then, or will it be after this? Have anyone mentioned anything, questioned, or?
Nope. We were working with city staff about the announcement, and everyone was waiting till after this meeting to make the formal announcement. So after this meeting, we'll let Jackie know. She can kind of let the emails go and roll out the process. It'll give our employees instructions for what they need to do and how they need to sign up.
So administratively, Chris, will we manage this, or will this be something that Courtney's team manages?
I think that's something that the city team will manage. I'm supposed to send a list of employees to the wellness center tomorrow, and just so they know when people come in, that they do work for the utility.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. And I think it's September 1st that they're making this effective. So as Chris said, they'll get information tomorrow.
Okay.
On how to go about that. So.
Okay, good. All right. Monica, would you do roll call for the vote, please?
Selgrave.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Voight.
Yes.
Thank you.
Vote is approved. I should have asked kind of to tag on to Adam's question. Will we review this annually then with our medical conversation to make sure that we have the reserves to continue to fund this? At what point will we review this, I guess is
when it's asked to be reviewed. It certainly is it's a mirrored city and trustee policy, and those policies are subject to review at any time anyone seems appropriate. We can bring that up for discussion.
It does seem like it'd be prudent to put on our list with the medical conversation, because it is one timing. I mean, there may be other times we want to look at it, but at least at that point, we'll know what our reserve fund is and what.
I think that's where the idea came from, wasn't it? Use that insurance fund to fund the
Right.
Came out of that stuff.
So at least let's make sure that we continue to look at it and make sure it's what we want to do, and now we can have the funds for it.
Yeah, it does lend itself naturally to be discussed along with the insurance reserves in totality.
Moving on, the combined electric, water, and communication items.
I think the big work, at least on the admin side, is the audit. We're preparing there. The auditors will be here next week. And I think what we shared earlier, they're going to be at the city a couple of days and at the utility a couple of days next week. So they're shortening up their on-premises time frame, which I think is a promising. It'll probably mean the days that they're going to be a little more hectic for Chris and I, but ultimately we're preparing for all of that. I think it's going well. Certainly work continues, but I think it's going to be a good one.
Chris, how are you feeling about it?
At the moment, a little stressed, but as Chris said, it'll be fine. This is certainly earlier than they've been here in the last couple of years, so we're working hard to get prepared for them, and I think we're in a good spot.
Good. Other items?
I'm traveling for me Wednesday and Thursday, and planning on taking vacation on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, ultimately out of solar due to their supply, and now their peerings are getting delayed, just like their racking. It looks like the construction won't start until early next year now. They were optimistic they would get some equipment to be able to install and have it progress through the winter. Looks like that's not going to work out.
So then the ribbon cutting and groundbreaking, those things will be moved into the spring?
Yep.
Have we put notices out there to other boards that would be very interested in that, and then also in our newsletter, just as people would have seen it, expect it, and then just see those changes coming?
Yeah, our next flyer article is about solar with the new, that discussion is kind of where the new dates came up, and so we'll have that kind of announcement and the dates and some of those critical dates part of that solar update in our next flyer.
Sustainability community, is that information to share with them?
I haven't yet. When I attended the last meeting, I didn't have this information quite yet. But certainly at a meeting, they've got a couple of questions. They want the city to have their own solar project that has to do with the new city hall construction. They want to see some solar movement there, but I thought, given our relationship, the property owned by one is property owned by the other. They may be kind of falling on our 5% limit that may preclude them from doing that as part of the project. I'll seek that clarity at this meeting.
It's probably a good thing that everybody has a clear understanding if there's some ruling on, because I think many will look at this as an opportunity for the city to do something.
Yeah, and in so many cases, we operate differently and have independent decision making, but a lot of that, common ownership.
Yeah. No, I understand. I just think that that'd be a topic for us to be able to have some good talking points to, and probably some in our articles be able to explain some of that. Melissa, anything from a customer service perspective?
No, everything's going good.
I saw the announcement on our time change, so.
We just started that today, so.
Okay, good. Any sort of feedback early? Did anybody notice?
We didn't have any really negative feedback or anything. Yeah, I mean, people have commented. We've handed out little cards and stuff to people so that way they know. And then obviously going into our first disconnect next week, we'll be lenient. We'll have to stick around probably for that and make sure we're covering.
Okay.
But yeah.
I wondered today, I drove past and the Salvation Army bus was sitting there. I wondered if maybe that would be a good place for us just to give a heads up to as well.
Yeah, shoot an email out to them and let them know,
Just a heads up as a courtesy that these are our office hours, just in case.
Yeah. Yep, I can do that.
Any other items, questions? Second. All in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.